Alrighty. Let's get into this. What's going on, guys? I'm LeafX. Let's get over to the game screen here. This is going to be some visual content. I'm LeafX. This is the Rocket League Dojo. Episode 3.5. Last week, we dealt with focus and car control. It was all audio. We had Kronovi and Rainx talk about their perspectives on the importance of those things. And this week we're going to go over just some basic car control. So anybody that's playing this game for a little bit isn't going to get too much out of this. I mean, it's always good to get a new perspective, but it's going to be some very basic stuff. Most of the stuff you'll already know. A lot of new players getting into this after the RLCS Season 1 finals. A lot of new eyes got set on Rocket League, so it's good to have more content out there, as much as we can have as possible. There are some good videos already on YouTube for some of this stuff. We're going to try to get a little more in depth and have just bite-sized bits on these content. In this one, I could go into aerials in depth. I could start to talk about different movement options, but I'm going to leave that to a later episode where we focus specifically on movement options and what you can do in certain situations. So today, we're going to focus mostly on just our movement and what you can actually do with your car. And there's actually some things that even a few hundred hours in, some people don't realize. Specifically, something like the air roll or even power slide. Some things that don't get put into the tutorial. So as we go on to this one, I will be interacting with the chat a little more on this one, just because it is visual content. So feel free, guys, to chat with me, hang out with me, and ask questions about any of this stuff. Again, most of this stuff is going to be stuff you already know. But I just want to have content there for the future for people and new players that can come into and say, hey, I didn't even know I could do that. At the end of this, we're going to be doing a giveaway. Right now, we don't have too many people watching, so your chances are pretty good. So don't tell anyone about this. Is counterproductive. Don't tell anyone about the stream if you want a chance to win it. We're gonna give away the new cars that are actually in the Aquadome update. That's Triton and Proteus. So I guess I'll show you. So there's your Triton right there. Looks like a missile, and your big old Grog lookalike, your Proteus right here. So we'll be giving those away at the end. One will be for subs only, and one of them will be for the viewers. Everybody will have a chance at that if there's subs in here. Otherwise, we'll just do it for everybody. But yeah, my ranks are pretty butchered right now. I play sometimes when I'm tired or intoxicated, and with friends that are just learning. So they're all my ranks are a little butchered right now. I haven't even done solo standard. I generally play and keep up pace with the blue ranks, though. So first and foremost, people getting into this, for anyone watching the video, this will be on YouTube afterwards. The first and foremost thing you want to do is go into training. I'm straight up going to tell you right now, the training is the best way to get started and familiarized with what your car can do. To tutorial more specifically. So I'm going to jump in just on the basic tutorial and show people what they should be expecting. Some people might overlook this and just jump straight into gameplay, and they're going to miss out on what you can do. So first and foremost, what can you do with your car? Well, you can drive forward and backwards, and that's what this one's going to tell you right here. You don't even get to use boost or jump. You just drive straight, holding R2. Look at that little controller thing. I love it. R2, driving forward. L2, driving backwards. That's straight up the first thing you need to know, is being able to move around. Obviously, turning left and right. You can see the analog stick there. And jumping gets added into the mix. You can jump into the ball. Your momentum gets carried at the jumps. If you jump straight up, you're going to go straight up. But if you're moving forward and you jump, you will keep going in that trajectory. And that's one thing to keep in mind, especially later on when you start dealing with aerials. That's a huge part of it. It's a physics-based game. And that is something that you're going to have to get used to, because physics in this carry everywhere and has a huge part in how you control your car, more specifically in the air. As you get more advanced, that'll come into it. This next part in the tutorial, again, I'm literally just going over the tutorial right now, but there's something a lot of people will overlook. And then we'll jump into training afterwards, and I'll go a little more in depth on the things you can do with these things that the training is going to teach you. So skip ahead if you're on the YouTube video and you don't want to see this tutorial stuff. Double jumping. You can hold any direction or no direction and flip that way. So you have 2 jumps. You can flip upwards, you can go backwards, which it doesn't let me, and you can flip forwards into the ball. This can be used... That was a weird hit. Why would they put you in that position? It can be used to hit the ball. It can be used to gain speed. Flipping forward and backwards will actually gain you speed in that direction. Sideways, it doesn't as much, just gets you over a little bit for recorrecting your positioning, but that's something you get into a little bit later. Talking about the boost, I mean, that's not really car control, but circle is. Holding down circle while you have a boost meter in that bottom corner there will allow you to move faster. You got to be sparing with your boost, though, because boost is a resource. It's something you have to pay attention to. That's another deeper meta, boost management, the boost meta that will have its own episode as well in the future. But for now, you know how to boost. And this is great that the tutorial does this, because this is something I wanted to do in the training, is show you the importance of using your cameras. Right now, I can't see the ball. A lot of players will actually just drive around like this. But you can't see the ball when you do that. So pressing triangle, or you can remap, and we'll go over that in a minute, allows you, to see the ball no matter where you are. If I switch back, I'll just face my car, and I can't see the play happening. Switching between these two is a very, very important skill. And actually, one of my training things, I'll go in, and I'll just press triangle and drive around the ball like this. When I'm getting warmed up in the morning, I'm about to play Rocket League. Basic movement, Jelly, you can use this. Just switch. I think it's underestimated how important, understated, how important using your cameras are and switching between them. It's very important to get used to switching fast. Having a better monitor, and this is why a lower frame rate on the PlayStation or Xbox actually does hinder you a bit. That's the only thing that playing on PlayStation or Xbox does hinder you in, is your frame rate. Playing on a lower frame rate is going to make it harder to be able to see small movements that are happening while you're switching between your camera angles. Now, I can't show you more camera angles because it's showing me how to power slide. Power sliding is a very important tool that I'm going to get a little bit more into depth when we get into training and show you some of the possibilities with it, but that will be included more under the movement option videos that we put in the future. So right now, hold down your square to drift, and this is one of the ones that you may want to remap later. So most of the default controls are good. Most of the default controls in this game are good. You don't need to change anything, but I do want to show a couple things that are mostly objectively better. Like it's not subjective, it's objectively better. Objectionally. So I'm going to show you those once we get into training mode. But for now, going through the tutorial and just understanding what you can do is the most important thing. So recommend the tutorial. Understand what you have. Now, there's one thing that the tutorial didn't teach you, and this is what I'm going to show you right now, and it's air roll. So I'm going to open the options and show you right now the ones that you might want to remap. Camera controls or camera settings, I'll have to tell people that in the future too. You want to change those. Actually, before we get anything, take camera shake off, please. Just take camera shake off. You don't want it on, trust me. Anyways, getting into the controls here, most of the defaults are fine. You can do whatever you want, and I recommend trying new things. The one thing I switched immediately when I first started playing, and I wish I had also switched my power slide, but I switched my air roll, because I realized boosting and air rolling, when circle was boost and your square was your air roll, was very difficult to do. And it's good to have your both halves of your brain separated. Let your two hands do two things instead of one hand do two. And good as jelly, I noticed you did. Trust me, put it back on now and you'll realize how terrible it is. You'll never be able to play with it again. Have I switched any of my controls? Awesomeness, yes, I guess I'm getting into it right now. So air roll is the one I switched. I switched to L1. Now, some people hate this, but I actually, since the scoreboard was on L1, I also had to change my scoreboard and put it on L3. And a lot of people get upset with that because it pops up. I can't do it right now, but it pops up in the middle of games. I don't notice it anymore, but you want to put that somewhere that it's not getting in your way. So yeah, the important thing is doing this early on, because I have over 1,000, like probably close to 1,500 hours into this game now, and switching my drift, my power slide to L1 now probably isn't going to be good. So the one that I recommend, air roll, and the other one that is likely good to switch as well as your power slide to L1. So that way you can boost and you can air roll on the L1. And here we go. This is why these videos are important. There's a jelly already. There's an air roll button. So yeah, I'm going to show you right now exactly what the air roll does. So when you jump in the air, you have a few movement options just based off your analog stick. You can hold backwards, and you can hold forwards to be able to change your pitch. Now, changing your pitch allows you to especially with aerials, start flying specifically. But again, that's more advanced stuff. You can also change your yaw, which is holding left or holding right. Again, you can see it on the control at the bottom there. And that'll allow you to spin around in a circle. Do a little spin-a-rooney. Air roll is the one that allows you to really control yourself in the air. And this is, I actually probably use L1 more than I use anything else now. Holding L1 and your air roll button, which is default on square, or I think that's X on the Xbox controller. By the way, using keyboard and mouse is a bad idea in this game. It is, once again, objectively better to use a controller. So get an Xbox controller, a PlayStation controller, whatever you want. They all work. Get a controller. Invest the money. It is 100% worth it. I'm not even going to go over keyboard and mouse because I can't even use it. You're going to have to talk to Geno Cop about that. Here we go. Air roll when you jump. So we've already gone over. We have pitch. We have yaw. And we have air roll. This allows you to do a roll. Either way, holding down the button and then pushing left or right will now let you roll while you're in the air. Now this is important for different things. Air rolling. I'm using a PS4 controller, as you can see on the screen right here. Yeah, air roll allows you to control yourself in the air. It also allows you to land properly. Say I'm coming down off the roof and I'm upside down. I mean, there's a few options. I can hold forward and just land properly, but I might be sideways a little bit when I come off. So let's show you what happens when I come off the roof a little bit sideways. So now I want to get a little bit more angled. So now I need to land. I air roll, land properly, and I'm fine. Otherwise, I'm going to just land on my side. It's going to take me longer to recuperate. Air roll is something you want to get used to. The second you let go of air roll, you'll start spinning instead your yaw. So that's something you really want to get used to. As a jelly, it is magic. That's something you really want to get used to, is learning to use your air roll, because it will help you change your shots, you know. Sometimes if I come in and to understand your car, the front is the hardest hitting, the back the next, the sides after that, and then the top. The bottom of your car is the softest part of your car. It will hit the softest. So hitting the ball with the underside will do a softer touch. So if I'm coming at the ball and I go like this, I'm going to get a harder touch to push it over to the left side. If I come at it and I roll this way, I'm going to get a softer touch. And that can change just everything when it comes to ball control. But right now it's car control. And I just wanted people to be aware that that's a thing. So your air roll, get used to it, remap it. I 100% think you should remap it to another button. Something that's the opposite of what your boost is. Because when I start flying through the air and boosting, holding square is hard. Being able to air roll with my other hand really helps. So that's the first thing I recommend to change, is your air roll and your power slide. I do recommend changing your power slide over to L1 as well. I just didn't do it in time. There are some pros that even play with defaults. I just think it's going to help you a lot to put things onto L1. Absolutely. Alright, so now that we know the basics, we've gone to the tutorial and we're driving around. This is the most important thing right now, is training mode. This is super important. Understanding your car. Now, each car does handle a little bit differently. The speed, acceleration, and all that's going to be the same. Their hitboxes are different, and their turning radius and drift radius are different. So what I mean by turning radius is how, holding full speed, how long it takes to do a full complete circle. Some cars take longer, sometimes some cars are left. Generally, the bigger the hitbox, the longer the turn radius, or the wider the turn radius. And the flatter the hitbox, the quicker the turn radius. That's kind of the balancing they put into this. Drift radius is when I'm holding down square, or sorry, L1, whichever one you have it to your power slide, and turn. How fast does the car turn and spin on a point is your power slide radius. Those are the big differences. So one of the things I recommend is going into your training mode, just drive around and hit power slide. Do some full turns. Understand relative to boost pads how, you know, off the kickoff. Let's reset. Off the kickoff. From here, neutral kickoff. Do I have to hold and boost fully to get to the corner boost? Or do I just have to lightly tap it? Every car is going to be different. And those are things you get used to by being in the training mode. Drifting is a very important thing. And I want you to just drift around the ball. Try to drift around it without hitting the ball. Because you'll find out it controls a little bit differently once you start getting completely sideways. And then once you've got used to your drifting, which is going to be a long time, you can just hold it down and drive around and hold back and forth. That'll help you understand. Try drifting into the ball. So these are some things early on that you're going to want to try. So right now I'm just holding down drift and hitting back and forth. And now while I'm drifting, I'm changing my camera. As I said, that's a good thing to get used to. Drive around the ball, change your camera. I do not hold it, no. I hold, I just tap. Cooks here actually holds ball cam. So again, it's really what you get used to. They played Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars before, so they were used to holding down. That was the only option you had. That's just crazy to be able to get your finger on every single button with your thumb. I mean, I'm doing it right now, but to precisely control, I guess I can hit X while holding triangle. My fingers are big, though. If you have smaller hands, it's not going to work out too well for you. I guess I can hit it in combo, but that's tough for me. Unless you're used to it, I would just stick with default right now. Tapping. There's no reason not to. Do I recommend changing your car after you get used to this one? Absolutely. I recommend trying new cars. You want to get as good as you can with one car, but understanding the difference between the cars is really going to help you out. Maybe you'll find a car that you'll maybe your positioning sucks. You switch over to the Batman or the Breakout with a better turning radius, and all of a sudden your positioning is way better now. You can work on your positioning. You'll switch back to the Octane. You'll have better control because of the higher hitbox, but you'll be smarter with your positioning because you trained with those other cars. So absolutely. Latch does as well too. Most of the Supersonic, the SART BC veterans, the game that came before this, play with hold the cam because it was just the default then. There's nothing else you could do. They didn't have the option to tap. So those are your basic, I guess, car controls when it comes to understanding what your car can do. The next thing after that is understanding that when you're inverted, you're flipped. So we talked about flips, and that's something you want to get used to too, is starting at one end of the field here, how long does it take for me to get to the other side just by flipping? That'll help you understand that you gain speed from front flipping. See, I didn't even drive once. I didn't even hold down accelerate once. I just simply flip forward. And you can do the same backwards. So I would recommend just driving around in training mode, getting used to what your car can do, holding power slide, just feeling how it is to power slide. That's one of the biggest things a lot of people don't practice enough, really, is power sliding, because it really allows you to move around a lot better. An example, and this will be under movement options, when I'm in net here, and I'm facing over this way, the ball's over there, and suddenly it gets kicked over to the other side here. Most people would back up and turn around like that. That's way too slow. How about this? Instantly turned around by power slide. And watch my controls here. I accelerate backwards while holding power slide, and I aim the opposite direction. So remember, when you drive backwards, it's opposite. It's the same as a real car, but again, these are things you just get used to. Playtime is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing with this, is just playtime. The more you play, the better you're going to get. It's not something that you can just instantly be like, okay, this is a technique I got to do and be better at it. There's things that can help, and that's what I'm trying to do now, but it's playtime. Absolutely playtime. So going backwards here, I'll hold drift the entire time, and I'll hold the opposite way on my analog stick while I'm reversing to start facing the other way, and then I'll start driving and turn the other way to get facing the other way. And instantly turn around. It's a very, very good tool, especially if you're going backwards, to be able to turn around, instantly turn around, instead of, instead of trying to turn like this and then boosting back. That takes way too much time. Get used to your power sliding. Absolutely recommend it, and I think it is a necessity when it comes to movement options, and something we're going to talk about a little bit later. It's way too advanced for this right now, but is power sliding, wave dashing, which I got some examples. I'm doing it right now, but I got some examples from Cronovia at the end that I'm going to show you guys. It's a technique that a lot of people are starting to get used to, but the inputs are a little more advanced than what I'm trying to get to right now. So once you're getting used to your power sliding, upside down, things change. When you start getting used to your air rolling, you're going to realize that your flips start to change. If I go backwards and I press forward, suddenly I went backwards. Why did that happen? Everything is inverted. So once you're upside down, I don't know if I can get a good angle here. But once you're upside down, all of your inputs just stay, they actually stay true to the direction of your car. So forward will always go where the nose is. So if I'm coming off a wall here, I see this mistake a lot, is when you come off the wall, a lot of people will front flip when they're going up, assuming that that'll put them upwards more. No, it'll just stop your momentum and flip you forwards. The half flip, yes. That's when you start, you do backflip backwards, hold forward to stop your momentum, and then air roll down to land. Like, that was a fancy move. But again, that's a little more, will be covered a little more in option or movement options in the future, in a future episode. That is, again, a little more advanced. You know, you're implementing a flip cancellation to an air roll, potentially boosting, while being inverted. There's a lot going on right now, and this video is targeted at people that are just getting used to driving their car in general. Zajelli, yeah, the wave dash, the high ping definitely does mess that up. So once you're getting around, you're driving around, you're getting used to your power slide in that, and you're starting to air roll in the air, you're going to realize that your flips start to change, especially when you're tilted up like this. So that's one thing I want you to get used to. Now watch, if I flip left right off the bat, you know, I go sideways. But if I flip up when I'm tilted this way, I went the other way for some reason. Why did that happen? It's because everything's inverted. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and that's only, again, something you're going to get used to in the air. So I recommend air rolling, doing some flips, getting used to how your car reacts once you're upside down. And then after you're getting used to your flips and so actually, you know what's one technique that I really want to put, that I actually started doing that got me used to the flips, was understanding that when everything got inverted, so if I'm upside down and I flip backwards right now, where's my car going to go? It's not going to go back towards me and away from the ball. It's going to go where my back end of my car is. It's going to go towards the ball. So if I backflip right now, I'm actually going to go towards the ball instead of backwards. Even though I'm holding backwards, I'm going to go forwards. And that's because everything got inverted. Just remember, whatever way your car is facing, your controls stay true to it. And that's one thing that confuses a lot of people at the beginning, especially when they're not in chase cam and they're in ball cam like this. They start to drive backwards, and then to flip towards the ball, they do this, and they go the wrong way because they don't realize that they're facing the other way. So that's something to get used to, is, you know, driving away from the ball, flipping. Just being in training mode and flipping around is a really good thing at the beginning to get used to. Playing, again, is the most important thing. So in between every match, I recommend jumping into the training mode, into free play. And I'm going to get rid of the text at the bottom there. Just drop down into your training mode. Head over to free play. And get used to hitting the ball and driving around. And honestly, sometimes I'll just sit here and I'll power slide around the boost pads, you know. And this will get me used to, you know, when I let go of the power slide, how long until my car grips the ground again and starts going straight and stops sliding. It gets you used to those kind of things. So those are, it's really important to be in training mode. Couple other things I want to show you. Your car control. Eventually, you're going to get adventurous and you're going to start driving on the wall. Now, you got to understand physics exist in this game always. The physics never go away. Gravity exists. If I jump up and I fall, well, I fall because gravity pulls me down. If I'm not boosting to counteract it, I will fall. That's true to the wall. Even when you're on it, you'll find when you're driving around, you're fine. You know, I'm driving around, I'm stuck to the wall. The second I let go, I start to slide. And that's because gravity will pull you down. It acts as pretty much as if you're power sliding. Now, you can power slide on it to create an even bigger effect. But just remember, when you're on the wall, you will slide a little bit if you let go. All the way to the bottom. Gravity is magical. It is true, awesomeness. Except when you're trying to aerial and it's fighting against you. So yeah, again, remember when you're on the roof, it will react. Gravity will react always. Now, taking it one step further. So now we've mastered driving forward. We've mastered driving back. Oh yeah, actually this is a good one too. Put it on ball cam and just try to drive around backwards. That'll help you get used to everything being backwards. If I jump up and fall, I fall. Good quote. I realized after I said it that it was a little ridiculous. So we've got used to driving forward. We got used to driving backwards. We've gotten used to our power slide. We've gotten used to changing our ball cam back and forth. And we've gotten used to jumping. And, of course, flipping. Any direction you flip, you will go that direction. I don't know if it's 360 degrees, but there's a lot of freedom. If I'm standing here, I can flip to the boost by pointing in that direction. So yeah, we got used to our flipping, we got used to our drifting, all that kind of stuff. Air rolling on the ground and stuff, just to test it out. We got used to driving on the wall. Now, what happens when we want to jump off the wall? Again, I'm going to fall on my side like this. You're going to want to air roll to land properly. But you want to flip. You see the ball coming towards you, and you want to flip at the ball. You know, we'll say that boost down there is the ball. I want to hit that ball. If I do that, and I flip at it, why did I go over top of it? I didn't go down towards it, how I was holding. I went over it. What the heck, man? When you flip off of a wall, you will carry your momentum forward. Any downward and upward momentum will cease to exist. Flipping is the only thing that disrupts any kind of real, I put in quotes, physics, and makes its own. It creates force out of the flip. That's why you can move forward. It just generates force, and that's why it lets you hit the ball. So off the wall, and I flip. That's not a flip. And I flip. I will stop going sideways and go forward, or downwards and go forward. So what you can actually do, say, here's a good example. If I'm falling towards the ground and I flip, actually I should come off the roof. See how I started going forward again? It's because my momentum started going horizontal. Flipping will always give you horizontal momentum in the direction that you put it. So keep that in mind. When you're falling for a shot, you know, you're coming off the side here and the ball's about to go in and you just want to give it an extra touch. And it's below you and you flip, you're going to go right over top of it. So make sure you fall until you're at level with it or underneath it, so that by the time it falls towards your car, you're going to hit it. So that's a very, very important thing to keep in mind, is when you're falling off and you flip, you will carry horizontal momentum, no vertical momentum whatsoever. Now, with our jumps, probably should have mentioned this earlier, is you have about, I think it's 2.5 seconds, I don't know the actual time, that you can actually use your jump. Oh, shoot, I totally forgot as well. Holding jump will give you more height. So I can short hop, or I can long hop. Just gives you different amounts of height. So, if I long hop and wait, I can still actually use my flip. See, I waited too long there. But I didn't have to flip. You don't have to instantly flip like this. I don't have to just flip right away. You can wait it. So if I'm coming at the ball, I can psych out an enemy and then flip into it. They would have thought I'd hit it sooner. You know, most people just flip like this into the ball. You know, I might want to wait and then flip into it. It's very good for mixing things up and showing your opponents that you have more skill set than just flipping to the ball every single time. Distorted, you didn't know the wall stuff, I assume. Yes, that's something that really confuses a lot of people at the beginning, is no vertical momentum. It gives you instant horizontal momentum. And there's one example I want to teach you, show you to make it a little more drastic, to show you really just how long or how much it gets rid of your vertical momentum. But first I have to show you how to keep your jump forever. So there's a few ways to do this, and this is stuff you'll realize once you start playing more. Is, as you guys are talking about, it's 1.5 seconds. You might be right, Robocop. Again, I've never actually counted it. It's somewhere in there, though. I'm sure someone can do a script and figure it out. 1.7 seconds says Dane, so that could be right. Again, we're all guesstimating here, but that sounds about right. So sometimes you'll jump, and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to save my jump, and flip. Oh, I ran out of my jump. It does time out. They added it actually in a patch once they added Neo Tokyo, like the original Rocket Labs map, that once you go off of a lip, or you get knocked into the air, if you go into the air by any force that wasn't created by you, so jumping, really, if you didn't jump into the air, it's considered a force that wasn't you. And you will actually keep your jump indefinitely. You will not lose your jump. One way to do that, so air rolling while doing that will help me get back on all 4 wheels distorted. Yes, absolutely. You know, dropping down, front flipping, and then air rolling to land gives you, like, I'll do that a lot to get back to net, you know. Say that's my net over there, and I need to get back to it. I'll also a lot of times come up on the wall, front flip like this, and just air roll to land to get back quicker. But yeah, back to our jumps. Is, so say I come off the inside of the lip here. Usually, you know, I'm going to try jumping after a few seconds here, and I lose it. Coming off the inside here, watch this. I'll actually keep my jump the entire time to use it whenever I want. Oh, there we go. We got the how long, the followage. Yeah, so any force. That includes going off the inside of a lip, coming off the roof. So I'll jump now, and I kept my jump. Indefinitely. It does not go away, and that's something to be very aware of. If someone comes and bumps me and sends me flying, keep in mind, I still have my jump at that point, because it wasn't me that initiated the initial air. It was someone else that did. Now, here's one that people actually started to realize recently. You get your jump back anytime all 4 wheels touch an object. So, if this is going to be hard to do, but if all 4 of my wheels touch the ball, see, I got my jump back there. So if all 4 wheels touch the ball, you get your jump back. That's the same with landing on opponents' cars. If you land on a car perfectly and all 4 wheels land on the hitbox, you will actually get your jump back again. And that's something to always keep in mind. But, again, that's a little more advanced stuff for now. The idea is to get used to your car and driving around. Being able to hit the ball and understanding the hitboxes. So that's the next big thing. Every car is a different hitbox. And a good way to demonstrate that is drive up alongside it and watch where the sparks come out. With the Octane, it's a little higher up. I'm actually going to, you know, it's a really good thing. I'm going to drop my camera angle here so that you can see that a little bit better. See where the sparks come out on the top, kind of near the top of the car there? It's because the top edge of my hitbox is hitting it. It's not perfect to your car. The hitboxes are actually squares. They do not sit entirely to the shape of your car. They're squares, and they go from the highest point, which is the spoiler at the back. So even at the front here, I wish I had my drawing software to show you this, but even at the front, it doesn't dip down into the nose. It's a square hitbox. That hitbox actually goes way out in front, and I'm going to show you by where the sparks come out here. So this might be difficult to hit the ball at an angle that... Alright, here we go. I got it. So watch where the sparks come out here. Maybe. This is really difficult to do. Stop ball. Alright. See how the sparks came out near like the top of the Santa hat there? That's because, I guess I could have just reset it. It's because the hitbox is actually a square. Way up there is where the hitbox is. Nowhere near the front of the nose. And that's something to be aware of, and a lot of people don't know right away. Yes, I got the sparks. Oh, I couldn't pause it. But yeah, it's way up there. That's exactly where your hitboxes are. You didn't know, pay attention to the sparks. Yeah, that'll show you where your hitbox is hitting the ball. And every single car is different. Now watch this. So you saw how high it up was with the Octane. Now I'm going to grab the Batmobile and watch this. The hitbox is a little more true to the actual car in this situation. This is a dope truck. Because it's a flatter car. There is no spoiler at the back to make the hitbox higher. So the front of the car hitbox is a little more true to the actual car. So you'll see when I drive it on this time, the sparks are going to be a lot lower, probably closer to the top of where the Batmobile cabin is, where Batman would sit. See, not too high up, but it still isn't true to the exact front of it. But look how much lower it is than the Octane. Much, much lower than the Octane, because the car is actually flatter. And one thing I showed before is look how fast it drifts compared to the other cars. The Batmobile is insane for drifting and turn radii. So that's something to get used to, and I do recommend trying new cars. It's very, very important to get used to the hitboxes as well as your movement. And then comes ball control. Ball control is something, again, we'll touch on in future episodes. But understanding that the hitboxes are different, the turn radius and drift radius are different, and what you can actually do with your car when it comes to what it does and how it reacts with the pitch around you is very important. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you is coming off the roof and dropping straight down. This will give you a good example of how you lose verticality when you flip. See, I just stopped going downwards entirely there. I started going completely straight. That's what happens when you jump and do a flip off the side. Now, it doesn't happen when you just jump. If you just jump, you're just going to keep falling. It's a flip that adds horizontal movement and no vertical movement. So make sure you keep that in mind, especially when you're going to hit the ball. You want to set yourself up underneath the ball generally. So if the ball's way up in the air, I want to flip while I'm under it to get to it. So that's not a really good example there. It's going to be hard to set it up. But yeah, you want to flip coming under it so that you get there as it falls. See what you guys are saying here. Which car is the biggest hitbox? Roadhog XL and Merc, I do believe. They did shorten, Dane, the actual Dominus one a while ago. I think it's more close to the nose now than it was. And this is why some cars actually hit harder. You know, the Scarab is going to hit a lot softer than the Batmobile is, because the initial power from the flip starts at the middle of the car, the very center of the car. Right there where the, you know, right in the center there where you can see that cross happen in the bottom of the Batmobile, that's where the flip happens. So the longer the car, the more torque it has, because it's further away from the initial point of power. It will hit harder, and that's why the Dominus has always been considered the harder hitter. Because it is longer. Scarab sucked because the wheels would hit it. But that's something to keep in mind. Also, before I did mention the front, the back are the hardest hitting, the top, then the sides, and then the bottom. One of the hardest hits for the car is actually on the corner of your hitbox, right where the both sides, the front and the side, will meet, is the hardest part to hit it, because it's the furthest away from the center. And it's on the front. It gives the most power. So hitting it right there will be your strongest hit. So you'll see a lot of people actually, you know, go up for a hit, and it's like the softest hit ever, because they hit it like that. If you come up to it and you hit it a little bit on an angle, it's going to hit it way harder and give you a lot more power. And that's how you actually see power shots come in from pros from like midfield that go precisely into net, is because they hit it with the corner of their nose. Way harder to defend against. So again, if you wanted to check out any of this stuff, it will be uploaded on YouTube later. That's mostly what I wanted to show people today. I know some people are just joining in. Don't worry, we have the giveaway coming up soon. But I mostly just wanted to show people what you could do when you're first getting into the game, what you should be paying attention to, and what you should be looking out for, and some of the things that you won't discover till later. And those critical things that aren't taught in the tutorial is your momentum when you're falling and flipping, keeping your jump when you being in the air isn't initiated by yourself by jumping and someone else hits you. You come off the inside of the goalposts, or you fall off the roof. The other thing that a lot of people forget to realize is your air roll, and that I actually didn't know about it until 300 hours in. We already helped Jelly today, so I'm happy that someone already has been helped by it, and hopefully this YouTube video will help in the future. But it's very important to realize that, and that you can customize your controls, and that you should most definitely change your air roll to L1 or a shoulder button opposite of your boost, and most likely your power slide. Your power slide is important in the game as you advance more, and that's why I wish I initially had put it to L1. I think it's a little late to try to relearn it now, but L1 is probably another good option to have that. You can live with default controls, but it is a good idea to try to switch it up early on to build that muscle memory, because it really comes down to that in the end. You're happy if you even hit the ball. Hey, you'll get there. You'll eventually get there. I also think they need to change L2 to stop bringing up the friends list. That's slightly annoying. And then while we're at it, camera controls, I'll touch on again in ball control, because it kind of comes into it a little bit more there. But take camera shake off right away. These are my settings in case anyone wants to try them out. But I'll touch into why each of these are important in the ball control episodes, because it affects the way you interact with the ball a little bit more than it does just driving around. So those are things that we'll check out later. Distorted, if you're leaving right now, you're going to miss out on the potential to win some cars. So we're actually going to be doing a giveaway in a few seconds. I'm actually probably going to roll it in the next minute, because we have reached the end of this video, and really what I wanted to show people when it comes to basic car control. So I think what I'm going to do is run these right away now. Subs will have their own chance here. So anyone that's a sub, you have the chance for the Triton, and we're going to do the Proteus giveaway right now. It doesn't matter. I'll buy it for you on the PS4. We have an Awesome is also from PS4. Don't be a Yemen. Yeah, pretty much. Take your camera shake off. So yes, you can win, and I'll buy it for you on the PlayStation 4. But you have to be active. So there are people just watching right now expecting to win this. You need to at least put one comment in the channel. So you need to be active to be able to win this giveaway. So anyone watching the YouTube video can probably just finish watching right now. You're not going to have any more content after this. But unless you really want to know who wins these giveaways. So I'm going to head back into to the main menu here. Get us some lovely music to... There's some sick new music in this update. Some music to listen to while we roll the dice here. But hopefully I understand how Nightbot works. Oh, the music goes away when I'm... There we go. I got it. I think this should work. So we're going to roll it and see what happens. So this... Everyone has a chance right now to win... the Triton. So the Triton is what we're going to be giving away right now at the moment. So make sure you guys have commented in there because we're going to roll it right now. And hopefully it works. So let's start the giveaway. Let's roll it. It's rolling. And Dane McNeil. Congrats, Dane McNeil. You've just got yourself a Triton. Now, if you already have one, feel free to take it from me as well. Or if you don't have one, I'll get it to you. If you do have one, we can give it to someone else. That's up to you. So congrats, Dane McNeil, for getting that. Hype. You've now won the Triton. I'm going to get your info from you. Whisper me right now if you can on Twitch, and we'll get that sent over to you right after this is done. So congrats on getting yourself a torpedo. Hopefully it goes fast. Look at this thing. That thing looks scary from the back. That's great. And these are the skins that it come with. I haven't actually checked them out myself yet. That one's alright. The racing stripe, of course. I kind of like this one. That one's pretty sick. Cool. So that one's going out to Dane McNeil. Congratulations. Easy wins for Dane McNeil. And so this next one is going to be for subs, unless Distorted is the only sub in here. Let's take a look. Do we have any other subs in the room? I'm not sure if we do. We might just open it up to everyone. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it... You know what? Screw it. He subs. If he's the only sub, he gets the win. You wanted the Triton. Perfect. That works out. Cool. Nightbot's got a really cool interface for this. All right. So I can roll again? What's it? I don't get how this goes. All right. Now I'm confused. Oh, that's another roll. Okay. I want to re-roll now with only subs having a chance to win this. Let's see. Is it just Distorted? Roll it. Oh, it's Distorted! Distorted has won the beautiful Proteus. Look at that. Yeah, can you imagine the last second another sub came in? Well, there you go, Distorted. That's what you get for subbing to this channel. A beautiful old Proteus. A big old Grog 2.0. Does it not look like the Grog? It's a Grog 2.0. You now have yourself such a hard giveaway. PR Elgasm right there. You now have yourself a Grog. I'll get that info to you. I'll message you in a whisper there. Dane McNeil, I've got your info there. So we'll make sure we get that to you guys. So congratulations on the wins. I'll probably do some more giveaways in the future when I'm actually streaming. Stay tuned, guys. I may not stream tomorrow, but Thursday for sure I'll be getting the stream on between one of those 2 days. So make sure you hit that follow button if you want to see me streaming in the future. But this has been the Rocket League Dojo. And basically every week, in case you don't know what it is, we go over different mechanics and mentalities. Last week, you can see right here what we went over. We did our focus and car control. And on our 0.5 episodes, that was 3.0, this is 3.5. So we go into one of the mechanics or the mentalities, and we do visual examples. So these are just audio ones, the 3.0 episode. And then the the 3.5s will be visuals. That's what you just experienced today. This was basic car control that we went over. So it's it's great to have a variety of content between audio and visual. That's what the Rocket League Dojo is about. We will have more guests in the future. Next week is going to be episode 4.0. So I'm not going to tell you what it is about yet, but we will get to that. It will be announced on my Twitter. That's Leafx, Liefx. So make sure you're checking that out, and make sure you give a follow on Twitch here, so you don't miss future giveaways or streams or anything like that. When will you get your mod payment, Kappa? And stream's over. Yeah, no problem. Distorted, congrats, and congrats to Dane as well for that. Thanks for guys for tuning into this. I would stream the rest of the night, but I do have a lot of stuff, between